It started off like any other day. 9:45 a.m. I remember exactly because I'd been watching the clock, waiting for algebra to end. I could hear the soft hum of the overhead lights, the scratching of pencils on paper, the rhythmic ticking of the clock. It felt so normal, safe. But then there was a knock at the door, and everything changed. Colt Gray was standing just outside. I didn't think much of it at first. He'd left class earlier, and now he was trying to get back in. But when my classmate glanced through the glass panel, his face went white like all the blood had drained from his body. "He has a gun," he whispered. The first thought was deafening, echoing down the hallway like a thunderclap. The sound reverberated through my bones. More shots, rapid, violent. Fear crashed through my chest. My ears rang, heart slammed, and the smell of gunpowder filled my nose. Screams erupted, students diving for cover. I threw myself under my desk, pressing my face to the cold floor. My cheek was wet, sweat or tears. The air was suffocating, thick with panic. I could hear my own ragged breathing, mingling with sobs and gasps. We were huddled together, trembling, eyes wide with terror. Colt's voice rang out, cold and steady, pounding on our door. "Open up!" he screamed, slicing through the chaos. Then came the banging, Colt slamming his fists against the door. The whole room seemed to shake with the force of it. I could feel the vibrations in my chest, rattling my heart. My throat was dry, but the taste of bile was creeping up. Our teacher was trying to stay calm, but her hands shook, fumbling with the keys. But what good was a locked door? I kept thinking, he's going to get in, and we're all going to die. Suddenly, from down the hall, we heard a door open. Another teacher stepped out. Maybe he thought he could stop Colt. But then that sound, oh God, that sound! The gunshot. It echoed through the hall and everything went quiet. The smell of blood, thick and metallic, seeping into the air. His students tried to save him, but there was too much blood. I can't even imagine what they went through. We were trapped. Colt was still out there, still firing. I could hear the shots, but I couldn't tell where they were coming from anymore. My whole body was shaking, my palms slick with sweat as I gripped the edge of the desk, trying to keep myself from screaming. One of the kids near the door, he was the bravest of us all. He stood up, despite the chaos, despite the gunshots, and shoved a desk against the door. His hands were shaking, but he did it. And as he turned back to us, I saw the blood dripping from his leg. He didn't even know he'd been shot. It felt like hours had passed, though it had only been minutes. Then, through the ringing in my ears, I heard it. Voices. Police shouting. "Drop the gun!" they yelled. My heart stopped. Was this it? Was he going to start shooting again? Were we about to die? But then, silence. It was over. Colt had surrendered. He just gave up, just like that. They told us to leave, to get out. But as I stepped into the hallway, my legs trembling so badly I could barely stand, I wasn't ready for what I saw. It looked like a battlefield. Abandoned backpacks scattered across the floor, shoes left behind in the panic, and the blood. There was so much blood. It was smeared across the walls, pooling on the ground. The metallic stench was overpowering, making my stomach churn. But the worst part? The body on the floor. They'd tried to cover it, but I could still see the edges, the gun lying just a few feet away. The evacuation felt like a blur. They herded us outside onto the football field, but all I could think about was what I'd just seen. My hands were shaking uncontrollably, my clothes sticking to me with sweat. I tried to call my parents, but my fingers wouldn't work. When I finally got through, all I could do was sob. I couldn't speak. I couldn't even tell them I was okay, because I wasn't. Four people died that day. 2 students, 2 teachers. And for what? I still can't wrap my head around it. How does a 14-year-old boy, someone we knew, someone we shared hallways with, do something like this? The worst part is that we're all left waiting for the next one. Because deep down, we know this can happen anywhere, to anyone. That feeling, that fear, it never goes away. If you're listening to this, please don't let my story fade into just another statistic. We need to do something. We need to stop this from happening again. If my story hit you hard, share it. Talk about it. Because we can't let this keep happening. Thank you for listening. If you're struggling after hearing this, reach out. Don't carry this alone. Leave a comment below if you've experienced something like this, or even if you just want to talk. We're in this together. I wish I could tell you I'm okay now, that I'm over it, but I'm not. And I don't think I ever will be. Because once you've been through something like this, it stays with you. Every time I close my eyes, I can still see the blood. I can still smell the gunpowder. I don't think I'll ever forget that smell, the coppery tang of blood in the air mixed with the thick, acrid scent of gunpowder. It clung to everything, the walls, our clothes, our skin. That's when I knew this wasn't just another drill. This was real, and I might not make it out alive.